into skill acquisition, and that is where the issue of developing in the the informal sector. We would develop the informal sector by encouraging our youths to go into vocations, to go into skills, because we are putting in place a skill acquisition center in each local government. And of course, by the time you get out of there, government gives you some money as facilities to take off. And we are going to go into legislation, because the problem we have in Ekiti presently is a high-level capital flight. The economy of Ekiti is being carted to Lagos on daily basis. It's being carted to Ghana and the United States of America, because no business person gets any patronage in Ekiti. So that is why we will legislate that all businesses of government that pertains to jobs and other, skills, that pertains to skills and all other areas would have 80% local content.
So 80% local content for Ekiti State for government businesses, okay? I think people have really taken you up on this, your education passion. Lots of questions here about education. This is particularly interesting, and I'll try and read it. The issue of not the fact that there's unemployment, but that graduates themselves are unemployable. This, I believe, is linked to the kind of education being given in this country. There are inadequate infrastructure, unqualified teachers, and our curriculum is too theoretical. What will you do as state governor to modify the type of education and the structure of education we have so that youth are employable?
Yes, it's because I was trying to analyze, but you cut me short. You directed me to UNAD. So the issue is that, well, like I said, our government has taken $50 million already, so that's 7.5 billion naira, but the resultant effect is that Ekiti has come 34th out of 36. And let me tell you, this is as a result of demotivation of teachers. For the past 3.5 years, the teachers have been on a running battle with government. Teachers have been at loggerheads with government. So their allowances are not paid. It's either examination today or another thing tomorrow. And what is the cause of this? The cause of this is because people superintending over the educational sector are not people that have knowledge of qualitative education, knowledge of education. Because when this present government first started, the commissioner for education for the first 2.5 years was an ophthalmologist that practices ophthalmology in Lagos. So then there was a lot of crisis under her in the educational sector. So what we want to do is that motivate the teachers, then you get the results from students. So that is the way we look at it. Then, of course, lack of books, no teaching aids, all these things will be looked into. So it depends on where you put your priorities. It depends on how responsive you are as government. So that is exactly how we will tackle education.
Okay. I'll come back to education, but this is an interesting question. Something about your nativity in Ekiti being rumored. When he introduced himself, he said both his parents were from Ado. So I'm not quite sure what his nativity, how much more native Ekiti does he get if both his parents are from Ado. So let's pay attention to, as we ask questions. Now this other one says, the slogan of your party is home-based politics. We're in the era where our language is fast eroding. What will you do to revive our language, bearing the word of Ibrahim Adesonya, who says people who lose their language have nothing again to lose?
Yes, like
I guess language will be Yoruba in this case, or maybe Ekiti.
Yes, that person has affirmed all that we have been preaching. Accord basis is focal point on home-based government. Home-based government is that people that will superintend over Ekiti, the cabinet our government will form, will be home-based. Like I said, when the present government came in, it was an ophthalmologist from Lagos that was commissioner for education. So we are going to invite NUT in Ekiti, Nigerian Union of Teachers, to nominate the commissioner for education for our government, and we have already told them this anyway. So that is that is by the way.
The language. The question was about language.
On the issue of dialect, it is so disheartening that people coming to be governors in Ekiti, including the incumbent, cannot even speak the dialect. Yes, because Ekiti is the most culturally homogeneous state in Nigeria, and that is our strength.
Yeah.
I speak Ekiti undilutedly, and I'm even sure that people hearing me speak English this evening will be wondering, because I've been addressing Ekiti people in dialect since my campaign started. So, unkoru mi lójú ni, ode unkoru mi lójú ni.
Kí ìròyìn lójú?
Báwo ni gómìnà Èkìtì ṣe ayọ̀sọ̀ Èkìtì?
So gómìnà ìlú Èyọ̀ Èkìtì. Gómìnà Èkìtì Èyọ̀ Èkìtì.
Gómìnà Èkìtì yọ̀sọ̀ Èkìtì. Líkété àkà ìdíje mi nìkan ní máa ń kírò kété lọ́rọ̀ọ́rọ̀. Bí abẹ́rẹ́ mi mò lókù lùdí òyìn ìdìbò kò mí o. So there is a lot in communication. When you are governing people and you are not able to communicate properly with them, then there is a disconnect. Then all your policies will not be received positively by the masses.
But the question is important actually even to me. What will you do to make sure that, I mean, it would be interesting if you ask the audience, how many of them can speak Ekiti? Èèyàn mélòó líbẹ̀ ló lè sọ Ekiti? Kétẹ́rín kẹ̀, èèyàn mélòó iná sókè yẹn kì í lè sọ Ekiti líbẹ̀?
Ẹ sọ ni kì í lé Ekiti, kéègbè Ekiti. Àmọ̀ṣọ́rò wo? Èrà Ekiti hàn kàwú bí á ti ṣẹlẹ̀ o.
Thank you. But I think the question, we haven't answered her question.
Okay.
How would you make sure that it doesn't die?
Okay, like I have said, we are going to be living by examples. The Constitution forbids any government forcing people to be speaking a particular dialect. But all we can do is to encourage. Because by the time we get to power, I want to tell you that most times state affairs would always be directed in Ekiti dialect. So by that, a lot of people will now be encouraged to say, if the governor can be speaking the dialect so well, let me go back to my mother.
And learn.
Let me go back to my friends and learn Ekiti. And you can be sure that people are more at home when their governor speaks their dialect. And I know that Ekiti will be better for it.
Thank you very much, sir. There's another question here. It says, what programs do you have for us? There are two questions I'll tie together. What programs do you have for us in Ekiti State whereby there will be money in circulation? We often hear structure. And then another question talks about when politicians are running for office, they usually share money, which is the beginning of corruption. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are clear. So we have not distributed money to anybody. We are not owing anybody. We are running our campaigns based on individual contributions, based on contributions from individual stakeholders within the state. So I want to tell you that the poverty we have in Ekiti is a recycled poverty. It's a politically induced poverty. And our people play into it. Government deliberately decimates the masses economically throughout their tenure. And when it's getting towards the election, they will now be enticing them with 1,000, 2,000 bags of rice and all sorts. And of course, this has even entered into the body fabric of our people. Embarrassingly. So they will decimate you economically, and by the time it's election time, they lure you with money, then you jump into another trap again, then another recycled poverty for another 4 years. So that is why we are saying that I'm presenting myself. It's not a do or die affair. I am not complaining about security, because I'm not making my campaign a do or die affair. Because it is only God that ordains the king. It is quite clear that I've been bold enough as a homeboy to present myself for governance. It's not left for Ekiti people to decide whether to vote for this innocent guy who doesn't have money to distribute, who will go there and do our bidding without any return on investment. So that is exactly the basis of Accord. Accord is a revolutionary platform. It's not a platform for political matches. That is why you cannot find any pot-bellied politician around me.
Thank you, sir. There are two particular questions on X2 that I'd like you to answer. One is your thoughts about the bursary at the university, and the other one talks about the fact that lack of hostels is a major cause of insecurity and riots on campus. What would you do if you are elected to resolve inadequate infrastructure, including hostels, and also your thoughts on the bursaries in Ekiti State University?
I want to inform our students that my memory as a student is still very short. I was a student in 2010, and I still received bursary as a student in the Faculty of Law. And one thing I noticed is that the bursary being given to our students, of course, that of Faculty of Law was different, and it's still different because of the professionality involved. But I think if people will be given bursaries, it has to be living bursaries. Bursaries that can at least add a little bit to the economic values of the students. So it is by right. So we are going to make sure that Ekiti State indigents in higher institutions, not UNAD alone, are paid their bursaries as at when due. We understand that for the past 1 year, I'm not sure Ekiti students are taking bursary. Ekiti students in the Ondo State, they are complaining. The FESU people here are complaining. And of course, government went ahead to even snatch their buses from them because they are complaining of bursary. So this is by right. So our government will be very, very fair to students. Payment of bursaries will be our priorities. Everybody involved will put them on their toes to make sure that our students receive their buses as at when due. Mr. Timekeeper, I've just finished one question. Let me talk about the hostels. Yeah. I'm aware of the shortage of hostel facilities in UNAD. There are a lot of hostels in UNAD being built by people from the private sector. One thing I notice about the hostels is that there is no specific benchmark. We have a lot of hostels that are like piggeries. A lot of hostels that are like where they put goats just because people want to have hostels.
So you said
yes, our government will put in place a proper structure that will regulate the activities of private hostel owners. Okay. And we will unlock that area. We will encourage a lot of our children, a lot of our sons and daughters that are well-to-do to come in and build a sustainable hostel facilities for our students. And hostel facilities that will be conducive for learning. So right, that is exactly what we do.
Thank you. And the final question before we open it up to our town hall. Sir, if you are choosing your Commissioner of Education from NUT, how about other ministries? How would you choose them?
Yes, it has been analyzed. The Nigerian Bar Association in Ekiti, they have a lot of qualified lawyers. The Nigerian Bar Association will nominate the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. That will be the first time that is happening because our attorneys general in Ekiti, in the previous and current governments, are all imported from Lagos. The Nigerian Medical Association in Ekiti will nominate the Commissioner for Health.
So use the relevant bodies for
the relevant professional bodies and that is, yes. Let me tell you, no candidate and no party can promise this because by the time they get there, there is return on investment. It is only Accord that don't have anything to return that can do this successfully.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so the floor will now be open. So questions now are not particularly directed to Mr. Ajayi. Since the other candidates did not come, we thought we'd use the time that we have, since we're going to be recorded and aired on TV, to just talk about governance, what your thoughts are about politics, governance in Ekiti. If you want to make a comment, ask EIE a question, ask Mr. Ajayi a question, ask somebody in the audience a question, ask Dr. Fayemi a question, Mr. Bamidele a question. Mics will go round, and there's a hand in that corner. If you can get 2 mics, so it will be faster. There's a first hand in that corner. If you can get a mic to that corner. Yes, in that corner.
Thank you very much. My name is Abiodun Ajijola. I want to congratulate Enough is Enough for putting together such a wonderful program. Can we give them a round of applause, please? It's highly unfortunate that our politicians don't think it is important to deal with the youths. That's why we're about 60 to 70% of the population. And I hope this horrible trend will stop in this country. So I just want to ask a question to you. Fortunately, your colleagues are not here. To really drive employment generation, we need to create enterprises within the state. So we need to be able to attract investors. For example, in Ogun State, you are aware recently they had an investors forum. They had one 2 years ago, and within that period of time, 46 factories were set up in Ogun State. So what is your plan to create enterprise development within the state? Because that is really the only way to create lasting employment for the youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. J.
Like I said, I have told you, what you said about Investors Forum, I have already said it. Unlocking entrepreneurs. We are going to unlock, that is, open the eyes of our sons and daughters to the economic investment potentials of Ekiti. And of course, we are going to adopt part of what you said, bringing them in, taking them around, and of course, like I said, taking the seat of governance to the various local governments a week in the month, and we are going to stay in one of the houses that will attract them home. The governor is with us in the next 1 week. Let us all come down. People in Lagos, people abroad, people in Abuja, our well-to-do sons and daughters, they come around. We identify the economic and industrial and entrepreneurial potentials in their area. Then we agree on what to do. Government is to encourage. We will encourage. And of course, by the time we start doing that from each local government, we cannot but leave a very strong mark. That is establishment of a lot of investments, entrepreneurial settings, a lot of industries will also come out because the people have been involved themselves. That is what we call public participation.
Thank you very much, sir. There's a hand right behind you there.
There's a question here.
The hand is right at the back. Yeah, where you are, right there.
Thank you so much. My name is Tunde Olumide Oluwasemiri. I want to ask a question as regards to that. You said if you come on power, that your first assignment is to change the name of Ekiti State University back to University of Ado Ekiti. And I want to ask, how would that make impact on the academic excellence of the university? Because as at when...
All right, sir, that's fine. Your point is noted. Point is noted. Please, can you answer, Mr. J? That's fine. Thank you. We have to watch our time. Sorry.
We understand that the basic problem of UNAD is underfunding. And I have promised that our government will do adequate funding. On the issue of the nomenclature, there's a lot in the name. If your parents named you Eshuyinka, by the time you are matured, you would have changed it to Oluwayinka. You won't retain Eshuyinka. So, I'm an alumnus, and I mingle with students. I mingle with lecturers. I know what it takes. Let me tell you, a lot of alumni have been going through a lot of difficulties in view of the incessant change in the name of that university. Like I said, I started with Obafemi Awolowo University in 1983. Along the line, it was changed to Ondo State University. Later, it was changed to UNAD. Now it is Eshu. It is not Eshu, it is Eshu, because you underplay the K. You don't say Akigbe, you say Aigbe. You don't say Akpata, you say Akpata. So
You're
Look,
saying the name
let me
is
tell
important.
you, there is a problem because I'm a stakeholder in alumni.
Okay.
When alumni members want to go for higher degrees and they are retrieving their records, because of the incessant change in the nomenclature, there's always a lot of difficulty in retrieval of transcripts and certificates.
Okay.
Then number...
We have a question here, ma'am.
Let's go to this side of the hall. There's a gentleman here. Is there a mic near him? Please, let's make our questions nice and short.
Thank you. My name is Adile Aki. I congratulate the organizers of this program and as well the barrister Kole Ajayi. My question goes thus, sir. The other time you are saying why you want to nominate your commissioners, that you will tell the NUT
The professional
NNA
bodies,
and
what's the
professional
question?
bodies.
Yes.
Are you trying to discourage the Ekiti diasporas that want to contribute positively to the development of Ekiti State?
Thank you. Ekiti in the diasporas. Do you have...
Yes, by doing that, I won't be discouraging them. I will be encouraging them to come home. I will be encouraging them to develop strong synergy with their people. I'll be encouraging them to, because a lot of them believe in sending money to the candidates. When the candidates get there, it makes them commissioner. That is not the kind of governance Ekiti people require. Ekiti people require governance that will be in tandem with their aspiration. They don't want lopsided policies. So we are going to encourage them to come. And more importantly, we have some sophisticated areas of technology where they will also come in. Because look, in the last, I don't know, we have a lot of manpower. In the last economy summit done by the Ekiti State government, none of our lecturers in UNAD was invited to economy summit. When it was getting to, nominating people, somebody to the constitutional conference going on, none of the UNAD lecturers were nominated to constitutional conference. They went ahead to nominate a lecturer from OAU, another lecturer from University of Lagos.
Local content
So,
again.
yes,
Yes.
it is not a crime to dwell in Ekiti.
Right.
So we have to send a statement.
Thank you very
So by
much.
the time we put in place our own base government, people outside will know that let us be closer home. When they say IGR has been increased from 100 million to 600 million, at what is...
So what will you do?
What is going back to Ekiti?
So what will you do to increase
Of
IGR?
course, we would introduce a lot of tax relief.
That doesn't increase your IGR.
No, don't worry. Because the chunk of this money goes to Lagos. Yes.
So what would you do to increase
high-level
conversation? We're sorry the time is short, but it is the time that we were able to accommodate. It is unfortunate again in rounding up that Ekiti, that the fountain of knowledge prides itself on the number of people that have higher education, the land of honor, that our other two candidates who had initially said they would join us did not join us. We want to thank the students of X2 and the other institutions in Ekiti for joining us for this conversation. And remember, June 21st is election day. Please go out, cast your vote for the candidates of your choice. Thank you very much. And before we forget, please let's not forget the girls that were abducted in Borno State. This is now day 48, I believe, and they are still not being found. We pray that the government, including federal, state, and local, the government of Nigeria, is doing all that they can to bring them back. Thank you very much, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.